Well, good morning from a very busy Portaventura world here in Spain. So it is actually an off-peak day today. It is a Monday. We've been here for the past few days. Today is the last day of the trip. So I thought I'd do a bit of a vlog. We've done the scare maze and stuff yesterday, so as we go past them, I'll let you know our thoughts and stuff of how we enjoyed that. We haven't actually done that many rides this trip. We've done a few shows and stuff. And we're just currently by Hurricane Condor, the Intamin drop tower, and hopefully we'll get on there today. We've done a few of the big coasters over the past few days, but the queues have just been really bad, and the operations at this park are rather poor, and they seem to have got worse, to be honest, since our visit last year. But it's always been known for its poor operations. But I'm currently heading up towards China, have a look around there, and we'll just see where the day takes us, see what rides we can get on, and then later on tonight we'll be heading down to Ferrari Land to get some rides on Red Force, as we are stopping on site at Hotel Gold River, which means that we get a 3-day pass into Ferrari Land, which opens at 5 o'clock until 10 o'clock tonight. So we are currently round by Shambhala, which is currently got a massive queue and all the cattle pen line. There it goes. And as much as a great ride it is, I don't really fancy waiting inside of all that cattle pen. And there's just Dragon Khan behind us now, we're just about to go past. But like I say, the poor operations here. Shambhala has been on 3 trains over the weekend, and it had all 3 trains stacking when nothing was running around. You know, you've got dispatches that are taking about 5 minutes per train, and it's just not good from a park like this, especially on a coast like that that should have a high throughput. So you now join me down by Angkor, which is a Mack Ride Splash Battle. Now this hasn't actually operated for a while, and it has been being used for a scare maze, which we did do yesterday, and it isn't open today. And this uses the old queue line and station building. So there's the sign for it up there. Personally, with that scare maze, it was very well themed. But if you're going to do it, wait till night time, as there is outdoor sections. It wasn't really that scary. I didn't really get any jumps in there. It wasn't the weakest maze. There's 4 mazes altogether. I'd probably rank it 3rd. There is one that I would put below it, that we weren't really that keen on. But yeah, if you're coming, you might as well check it out. You can get a combi ticket, which will get you into all the mazes, which is what we did, because we might as well give them all a go. You know, every time you're going to get a different run through, and it also depends where you are in the group and stuff and who you're with. But like I say, it's a really well themed maze. It's worth giving it a go if you're into set pieces and stuff. But it just wasn't really that scary. But yeah, it uses the old ride area of Angkor, which actually I would like to see this ride reopen in the future. They have still got the boats, and as you go up the lift hill on Shambhala, you can actually see the boats just sat over the back on a piece of land. So I would like to see that ride reopen in the future, rather than using that building for a scare maze. As the ride system itself isn't really that old, it only opened in 2014, and they did all this theme in an area for it. So I would definitely like to see it reopen, because as far as I'm aware, it's been closed for a couple of years now, which is a real shame. So we're just around the other side now by Dragon Khan, which is looking really fresh after its repaint for this season. And actually this closed season, it's going to have some retrack work, including part of the Cobra Roll and one of the loops. And they're going to be retracked over this closed season. And from what we can gather, it's going to have partial retracks over the next few seasons to extend its lifespan. But it is looking good after a fresh repaint. It was needed, as last summer it was starting to look a bit faded, so it's good to see that they're looking after this B&M Classic. Personally, I think it's a great ride. I don't think it's as rough as it's made out to be. You have a few jolts on it, but it's still a good coaster nonetheless, and hopefully they'll keep it for many years to come. So another ride that used to be here, which I haven't seen operate for a long time, is this. It's an old boat ride. It used to have multiple stations, so there's one here in China, and there's another one round at the entrance of the park. But I haven't seen it operate in a long time, but the boats are still there, so I would like to see that open again in the future as well. It is a shame to see a few attractions sat around and not actually operating. And then just behind me is where the scare zone is. Now this only operates at peak times, however the theming is here throughout the rest of the time as well, and you can still walk through, and it makes good photo opportunities. Now it is very busy down this pathway, so I'm not sure how much I can show you, but there's lots of theming items about and stuff down here, and it makes really good photo opportunities. And yeah, it becomes a scare zone on peak times, which is mainly the weekends. So if you're coming at a weekend, make sure you check this one out as well. Obviously it's a scare zone, so it's free to do, unlike the mazes, which obviously are your upcharges. There's some really nice theming, like look at this hand, made to look like it's coming out the ground, and there's all these different bits about. And with the actors down here, obviously when it's a scare zone, is it operates mainly through the daytime, which would be better being done at night time really. So there was a lot of people walking through the scare zone there and using it as photo opportunities, why it isn't full of actors. But what I'll do now is I'll just insert some clips from when we went through there when it was fully operating as a scare zone, so you can see what that's like.
It's definitely televised in her life. Oh, the poor baby. You're definitely, the more you scream, the more they're going to televise you.
So we're just walking through Polynesia now, and just in front of me is the entrance to Sesame Street. So I walk down through China, but you can actually cut through Sesame Street to get up to Shambhala and stuff in the morning, or if you're coming back down towards the front of the park, then you can actually cut through Sesame Street. That's the park's family area, and it's actually a really nice area, especially if you've got younger ones. And there's a really nice dark ride in there called Sesame Street Street Mission, and in the background you'll hear one of the other scare mazes, which is Wreck. Now this has been here for a few years now. There's actually a pretty decent maze. There's a sign for it. So that is one of the ones that is most likely to be open on an off-peak day. And that was my second favourite maze. I actually did get a few jumps in that one, and it was well themed, and it's based around a Spanish horror movie. And if you wanted maze tickets, here is the board. And you can also get these Halloween passports, which can get you access into all the mazes as well, which is what we did. Now the prices do change depending on when you come, whether it's peak day or off peak. Some of the maze tickets do change in price, so that's worth keeping an eye out for. So yeah, that was Wreck. Solid maze, that one. Definitely give that one a go if you come in. It's definitely the best one that's in the main park. And then one of the other mazes, which is actually, it's a very big maze, is over based in the water park. You can access it from the main park, back near the entrance, but that is a really good maze, and I'll get onto that later on. But if you come in, that'll definitely want to check out. But that one and Wreck, two solid mazes, definitely worth coming to check out on your visit. Though it is a rather warm day today. It's about 26 degrees. Bear in mind, when we left home, it was about 10 degrees. So it's definitely time for some water rides, and we are going to go for a ride on Tutuki Splash, which is an absolute soaker. But it definitely needed to cool down on a day like today. Brilliant Intamin boat ride. You get a small drop, a big drop. And there's also some tunnels which aren't so great because they are full of chewing gum. But yeah, the ride's just here behind us. Boat's coming round back to the station now. But yeah, definitely time for a cool down. So I've just come off of Tutuki Splash, and I'm glad this white t-shirt is thick because I am absolutely soaking wet through. But it was nice to cool down. I did need it. And there is a boat just about to come around the drop now. But yeah, it's a solid ride, that one. Chewing gum tunnel is still there, I can confirm. And it would be nice if they could get the effects working again. As up the top there, it used to be like a volcano and have eruption effects and stuff, but unfortunately that hasn't worked for a long time. That didn't work my first visit back in 2016, so the likelihood of them fixing that isn't very high. So I've just walked into Mediterranean, heading up to Far West. You get the beautiful lake view over here. So now I'm absolutely drenched. I'm heading back towards the hotel, and I'm going to meet Chloe. But yeah, there's the nice entrance area to the park. You've got Furious Backhoe just there. And this is actually the other station to that boat ride that I was on about up in China that hasn't run for a while. But yeah, we're just about to head into Far West, and I'll pop back to the hotel, just dry off a little bit. I'm not going to get changed because I'll hit some more water rides later anyway. But yeah, we're entering the Far West area now, over the bridge. So we did the rapids the other day as well. Love the rapids here. It's a nice fast one. It's not a long one, but it's a fast one. And if you hit it right, then you can get wet on there. I didn't get too bad on there the other day, just a light sprinkle. But Tutuki Splash is guaranteed to always get you wet. We didn't get a Tutuki special this time though, which is where one comes down the drop as you're at a certain point on the lift hill, and it'll soak you. There's some more of the theming. A spider on there. So Tatuki Splash was a nice walk on, and the rapids here, that's got a current 40-minute queue. That's always a popular one. You don't get too wet on there, so if you don't want it absolutely soaked, it's still alright to go on there. There is one wave section. If it does hit you right, then you will get quite wet, but most of the time you just get a nice light sprinkle on there. Now, I haven't mentioned, this year the park is celebrating its 30th anniversary, so as well as all the different Halloween decorations, there is also the 30th anniversary decorations. On the peak days there's the lake show, and then they have the extra bits on the parade and stuff, which has obviously just changed over to the Halloween parade now. But I'll put some footage and stuff in of the lake show later on, so you can see that. I'll just put some clips in of that and the parade. But yeah, we're just in Far West now, so you've got the crazy barrels, and over the back there in that building you've got the dodgems, which is a really wild dodgems, that one. It's not like the UK, there's absolutely no rules on it at all. Just smash into anyone you like, really. And then for the younger ones, they have the Buffalo Rodeo mini kids dodgems as well. Now, on an off-peak day, the park is only open till 6:30, but it is still busy, so really I wish they would extend that a little bit, especially now the park doesn't open till 11 o'clock. So it used to open at 10, but now it doesn't open till 11. And this park does like its staggered openings, such as Stampeder, which didn't open till 12 o'clock, Hurricane Condor 11:30, the Flume, that was 11:30. So there's a good few that don't open till later on. But we're just coming up now towards the Silver River Flume. Definitely have a bash on there later, hopefully. I really do like that log flume. I see some Halloween bunting and stuff up here, just as we're about to go over the bridge, which has also got the 30 years on there, which is good to see that they've kept that up and haven't took that down for the Halloween stuff. But yeah, here's the Silver River Flume. Unfortunately the water wheel's not working this time, so hopefully they can get that fixed. But yeah, it's a really good log flume, that, and it interacts nicely with the Arrow Mine train coaster, which is Al Diablo, even though that's not such a good ride. It's literally one of the lift hills you drop down into some brakes and then you go straight back into another lift hill. And they actually asked John Wardley what he thought about the design of that coaster, and he didn't like it at all, and he wanted to change it, but it was too late into the phase of getting it here before that could happen. So unfortunately that's what we're stuck with, but it works as a step up coaster. If you're going from sort of junior coasters to mid-sized coasters, it's not a bad step up coaster. So it is nice and busy up here in Far West, but the Halloween theming is brilliant, and it's all across the park. Anywhere you go you would know it's Halloween. Lots of things about. There's also lots of street theatre, especially on peak days. There's lots and lots of actors about, and there is still some on off-peak days, just not quite as many. And there's lots of shows and stuff if you come into this park as well, that are worth checking out. We did the stunt show yesterday, and then we'll be hopefully heading to another couple today. You can see lots of theming, photo opportunities. There's the stage. Yeah, there's theming everywhere, lots of pumpkins, straw, all that kind of stuff everywhere. So you really know it's Halloween, lots of skeletons. But yeah, they do a fantastic job of the Halloween theming. It's just a shame about the operations at this park, we really let it down. This time around we really haven't done many rides, so we were here for 5 nights. And we've actually only probably done about 5 rides through our trip so far. So as long as I get a couple of the big coasters in, I'm not too bothered this time. We were only here last summer. After this trip we'll probably have a break from here for a little bit, as we'd like to do some other new places that we haven't been to before. But yeah, it's nice to be in sunny Spain. It's just a shame about the operations at this park. we're back in the park since I last spoke to you. We've been down, had a light lunch with some hot dogs and chips, and then we went and watched the Halloween factory show. That was a really solid show. If you're coming here, check it out over Halloween. I wouldn't say it's quite as good as the summer show that we watched last year, Dreams in the City or something, I think that was called. But it was still a solid show, some good acts, definitely worth checking out. Now, we haven't bothered with any more rides, we just had the one ride today, but we're currently walking to Ferrari Land, where we're going to go and get on Red Force. If you're stopping on site here, you do get a 3-day pass into Ferrari Land. The only ride we're really bothered about in there is Red Force, so unless anything else has short queues, then the main one's Red Force. But yeah, we're just walking down Mediterranean now. And then the other scare maze I was on about earlier, I'll put it on screen for you now. I haven't had a chance to film that before. But that's the maze we weren't so keen on. It's up in Mexico, and it wasn't really scary. It's not open until it's dark and it lets the light in, so I don't think we'd bother with that one again if we came back for Halloween. And then the last maze that I was on about earlier, the entrance to it's over there, so the water park, and I'll put some bits from on screen now from that. And that one was absolutely brilliant. It's over half a mile long. You're in there for a good 20 minutes, half an hour, and it's fantastic. You've got loads of theming, actors absolutely everywhere, and if you come here, that's definitely like the main one to check out. Don't miss that if you're coming over Halloween. But we're just getting towards Ferrari Land now, where we're going to hop on Red Force. So we have just been into Ferrari Land. I didn't really film anything while we were in there. So it started off with a bit of a faff. We went to get some food, and we got some vouchers because we were staying in the hotel. One of the kiosks broke while we were waiting for food, and then we joined the queue for the man kiosks, and that was a long wait. There was about 5 orders in front of us, and it still took us altogether about 40 minutes just to get some food. But we got through that, and we joined what was advertised as a 2-hour queue for Red Force. Slow operation, same as the main park. But it took about 1 hour and 40 minutes, and that was including a breakdown. And just as we were about to leave, we managed to get enough time to run back round and get a second ride on the front row, and that ride is just incredible. Definitely my favourite ride here, probably my altogether favourite ride now, to be honest. I loved it last time, I love it this time. I know people say Shambhala's better, but for a bigger guy like me, it just pins your thighs too much and it makes it an uncomfortable ride. As Red Force, loads of airtime on that top hat, coming back down the other side, absolutely love it, just being pushed into them restraints, seats out the bum, just absolutely incredible ride. And also for Ferrari Land, I was joined by Chloe, so she come onto the front row with us. So what did you think?
Honestly, last time I was too scared to go front row, because front row last time when we came last year, but this time we've done it, and honestly the best ride I've ever had on Red Force. Honestly, we'll do it again.
Even knowing it's such a basic layout, all it is literally a launch and a top hat. You know, you're launching to basically 112 miles an hour in around 5 seconds. even when it's an LSM, like there's punchier launches out there with your hydraulics. You know, Furious Backhoe, that's got a brilliant launch on it, but you know, you just keep going. The launch just feels like it's never ending, and then all of a sudden you're just shooting up 300 foot into the sky. It's just incredible. And then you get that final pop of airtime just before you hit the brakes as well, which if you've never been on it before, then you wouldn't expect that one. But yeah, that wraps up our trip to Portaventura. To be honest, I didn't film as much as I wanted to. We've been really disappointed by the operations this visit, and I don't think we'll be back again for a little while now. Probably give it a break and come back in a couple of years. But overall, it's not been a terrible visit. We just haven't really bothered with as many rides this time, but we did them all last year anyway, so we weren't too bothered. My main one was getting back on Red Force. We've enjoyed seeing the shows, and I'll put some footage in now from the Halloween factory show. So I'll let you watch a few clips from that, because we watched that earlier and that was another really good show. We proper enjoyed that one. And then we're now heading back to the hotel. We fly home tomorrow. So I just thought I'd do a bit of a video for the last day. Like I say, we haven't done loads and loads of rides, but if you come into this park, if you're just wanting to get rides in, you definitely need 2 days. If you're coming at peak time, then definitely recommend getting the express pass, as operations here are terrible. I'm not a fan of fast track, and it's not something I like buying, but next time I think even just for one of the days we will end up buying express for our visit. But apart from that, the Halloween event itself, brilliant theming around the park. You had the 30th anniversary decorations, and then on top of that, brilliant shows, especially that I really like the lake show as well. Some decent mazes, especially the one that goes into the water park. Can't remember what it's called, but really long, loads of actors.
That's our favourite. We've even done it twice.
Yeah, we ended up doing that on both days at the weekend. Definitely the best maze here, and if you come, not one to miss. And then also Wreck, that was really good for giving us some scares as well. Like, I don't get the most scared during the mazes, but this time I got a few jumps in them 2 mazes. The other 2, not so much. Angkor was very well themed, but the one up in Mexico, if I came again, unless it was dark, I probably wouldn't bother with that one again. It was definitely the weakest of the mazes. But from our trip here to Portaventura, that is all. The next trip will be to Alton Towers for the fireworks.